When we look back at the past, we've got two ways to piece it together. One is history, aka the good story written by whoever won or whoever has the power to write it. So, it's not the most accurate. The other is archaeology, the science that digs up old stuff and tells us what life was really like back then. And while history can be twisted, archaeology doesn't play favorites. It just brings us the truth, no matter how crazy it may be. Archaeology also has the habit of springing some great surprises on us in the form of long-lost, forgotten cities. These finds then usher in a new wave of information that broadens or even turns history as we know it on its foot. So join us as we look at 15 of the most incredible lost cities on Earth that were eventually discovered. Let's start off with number 15, Tanis. Everyone knows about King Tutankhamun's tomb, but few have heard of Tanis, the lost city that held the wealth of Egypt's pharaohs. A once thriving metropolis, Tanis flourished as a royal capital until the Nile shifted course, cutting off its lifeline and dooming it to obscurity. For centuries, its location remained unknown. Then, in 1939, after more than a decade of searching, French archaeologist Pierre Montet identified Tanis and unearthed 3 undisturbed royal tombs, a discovery as significant as Tutankhamun's. But fate was cruel. World War II broke out the same year, burying the story just as the city itself had been buried for centuries. Though overshadowed by other discoveries, Tanis is one of Egypt's greatest lost cities. Its real-world legacy even made it to Hollywood. The Indiana Jones film Raiders of the Lost Ark imagined it as a hidden Nazi excavation site in the hunt for the Ark of the Covenant. Number 14, Carthage. Few cities have fallen as dramatically as Carthage. Once the heart of the Punic Empire, it stood as one of the most powerful cities of the ancient world, just like today's London. But it made the fatal mistake of challenging Rome. In 146 BC, after a brutal siege, Roman general Scipio Aemilianus razed Carthage to the ground, marking the end of the Punic Wars. Though the city was rebuilt, it never regained its former glory. It changed hands many times, but in 1270, its own ruler, Muhammad Lamin al-Mustansir, ordered its fortifications demolished after briefly losing it to the Crusaders. Over time, Tunis, just 16 kilometers away, overshadowed it completely. Despite its destruction, Carthage was never forgotten. Danish archaeologist Christian Tuxen Falby began his first excavations in 1830, uncovering layers of history beneath its ruins. Today, the site remains an open book of war, rebirth, and decline, one that still bears the scars of its past. Number 13, Sigiriya. Sigiriya was never truly lost to the locals, but the world only learned of it in 1831 when a British major stumbled upon the ancient city. Dating back over 5,000 years, Sigiriya was transformed in the 5th century AD by King Kashyapa, who turned it into a majestic fortress city. Built atop a 200-meter-tall rock, the city was designed with gardens, reservoirs, frescoes, and a complex network of caves. It even had an advanced water management system, making it far ahead of its time. Surrounding the rock, mysterious murals of hundreds of women have puzzled archaeologists, with some believing Sigiriya may have been a religious site, perhaps a gateway to the gods. Sigiriya's 5 grand entrance gates and intricate urban planning suggest a kingdom of immense wealth and power. Today, the ruins remain one of Sri Lanka's most iconic landmarks, offering a glimpse into a civilization that blended art, religion, and engineering mastery. Number 12, Pavlopetri, Greece. Pavlopetri isn't just an ancient Greek city. It's one of the oldest submerged settlements in the world. Located off the coast of southern Laconia, this Mycenaean-era city dates back to 2800 BC but was swallowed by the sea around 1000 BC, likely due to earthquakes. The city's underwater fate was a blessing in disguise. Because it lay undisturbed for thousands of years, its streets, graves, courtyards, and chamber tombs remain remarkably intact. Discovered in 1968, Pavlopetri wasn't fully mapped until 2009, when researchers confirmed its status as a major Bronze Age harbor town. But its preservation is now under threat. Located near a popular tourist region, it faces damage from boat anchors, souvenir hunters, and even marine life. Despite these risks, Pavlopetri remains a rare, unspoiled window into an ancient world, one that still lies just 12 feet below the surface, waiting to be explored. On day, our cities will be lost. Number 11. Ancient City of Teos. Teos, an ancient Greek colony on the west coast of Anatolia, was founded in the early 1st millennium BC. By the 7th century BC, it had joined the Ionian League, a confederation of 12 powerful city-states. Over time, Teos became a thriving hub of art, culture, and trade, flourishing through the Hellenistic and Roman periods. Archaeologists from the University of Pennsylvania and Ankara have been excavating one of Teos's best-preserved structures, the Bouleuterion, a grand council house built in the 3rd century BC. The auditorium-like structure once accommodated hundreds of people, later evolving into a venue for theatrical performances during Roman rule. Recent excavations have uncovered mosaics, including one depicting 2 cupids locked in battle. A weathered inscription suggests the building may have been dedicated by Dionysian artists. Fitting, given that Teos was the sanctuary city of Dionysus, god of wine and revelry. With its rich history, Teos remains a remarkable window into the past. Number 10. Rapta. Ancient texts describe Rapta as a bustling East African trade hub, dealing in ivory, gold, rhino horn, and slaves while importing metal tools and weapons. Ptolemy mentioned it, Arab sailors spoke of it, and Roman traders may have visited, but for centuries, its actual location remained a mystery. Then, in 2013, nature did what archaeologists couldn't. Unusually low tides near Mafia Island, yes, that's its real name, revealed a strange series of rectangular rock formations miles offshore. Professional diver Alan Sutton spotted them from a helicopter, but struggled to relocate them once they submerged again. It wasn't until 2016 that he finally succeeded. Beneath the water, Sutton and his team found a sunken city, stone walls, paved roads, and plazas, suggesting an advanced harbor settlement. Artifacts are still being analyzed, but early evidence suggests it could be Rapta. If confirmed, it would rewrite African trade history, proving this forgotten city was once a thriving link between Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. Number 9. The Storm God City. By the 13th century BC, the Hittite Empire ruled vast territories across Anatolia and Syria. King Muwatalli II, in a surprising move, relocated the empire's capital from Hattusha to Tarhuntasha, a city named after Tarhunta, the storm god. Scholars believe this was partly a religious reform, but also a strategic decision. The old capital was too far north for the king's ongoing war with Egypt over the Levant. After Muwatalli's death, the royal court abandoned Tarhuntasha, returning to Hattusha. His son, Kurunta, was named ruler, and the city became an independent kingdom. However, its exact location remained a mystery, until now. Archaeologists surveying the Konya Plain discovered Turkmen Karahoyuk, a massive mound showing evidence of urban expansion in the late Bronze Age. Pottery, inscriptions, and ancient treaties suggest this site may be the lost capital. New research comparing clay samples from Tarhuntasha and Hattusha may finally confirm its identity. Number 8. Hedeby. Hedeby was one of the most significant Viking cities, strategically placed on the Jutland Peninsula near a narrow inlet connecting to the Baltic Sea. Founded around 770 AD, it quickly became a major trading center, attracting merchants from across Scandinavia, the Frankish Empire, and beyond. King Godfred of Denmark fueled its growth by relocating merchants from Rarik, strengthening its role as a commercial hub. For centuries, Hedeby thrived, featuring fortifications, workshops, and a bustling port. However, its golden age ended violently. King Harald Hardrada of Norway razed the city during his conflict with the Danish king Svein II. By the 11th century, Hedeby was abandoned, but its legacy as a Viking trading powerhouse lives on. Today, reconstructed Viking houses offer a glimpse into its past, and ongoing excavations continue to uncover artifacts that reveal the scale of its influence in early medieval Europe. Number 7. Karakorum. Karakorum, the legendary capital of the Mongol Empire, rose from the vast steppes of Mongolia in the early 13th century. Initially a small settlement, it gained prominence in 1235 when Ögedei Khan, Genghis Khan's successor, transformed it into a major political and trade hub. At its peak, Karakorum featured palaces, temples, and even a silver tree, a dazzling creation in the Khan's palace that flowed with wine and mare's milk. The city was a crossroads of cultures, welcoming Persian, Chinese, and European diplomats and merchants. However, Karakorum's rise was short-lived. In 1388, Ming dynasty forces sacked the city, leading to its decline. By the 16th century, it was abandoned. Today, the Erdene Zoo monastery, built with stones from the ruined capital, stands as a reminder of Karakorum's once glorious past. The site was officially identified in 1889 by Russian explorer Nikolai Yadrintsev, bringing the lost city back into history. Number 6. Kalatka Darband. Back in the 1960s, U.S. spy satellites were snapping photos of the Middle East, keeping tabs on Cold War enemies. Decades later, when those images were declassified, researchers spotted something unexpected, a faint outline of what looked like an ancient city in northeastern Iraq. The conflict kept archaeologists from taking a closer look for years, so they got creative. Using drones, they scanned the land, searching for crop marks, subtle changes in plant growth that hint at buried structures. What they found was Kalatka Darband, a city likely established around the time Alexander was wrecking the Persian Empire in the 330 BC. The name means Castle of the Mountain Pass, and it might have been a key wine trading hub between modern-day Iraq and Iran. Excavations have revealed massive stone walls, presses for making wine or oil, and fragments of Greco-Roman style statues, including one of Persephone and another possibly of Adonis. Even coins dating to around 50 BC have turned up, suggesting this city was like NY. Number 5. The City of the Jaguar. In 2015, an expedition deep into the Honduran jungle made an incredible find. An untouched lost city, left exactly as it was when its inhabitants mysteriously abandoned it. Archaeologist Christopher Fisher called the find incredibly rare, since looters hadn't touched a thing. And to keep it that way, the team kept the city's exact location under wraps. The site, nicknamed the City of the Jaguar, sits in the dense rainforest of the Ciudad Blanca Preserve. The name came from a large stone were-jaguar, think werewolf but jaguar, head resting on the ground, possibly depicting a shaman in a spirit form. Over 50 artifacts were lying in plain sight, with many more buried. Researchers mapped the area, identifying plazas, pyramids, and monuments, but left everything untouched. Using airborne laser scanning, they first spotted the ruins in 2012, and after years of searching, the team finally stepped foot in a city unseen for centuries, and the end. Number 4. Mahendraparvata. For centuries, the Khmer Empire dominated Southeast Asia, leaving behind the awe-inspiring Angkor Wat, the world's largest religious monument. But that wasn't the only city hiding in Cambodia's dense forests. In 2012, archaeologists armed with LiDAR laser scanning technology mapped 123 square miles of jungle on Phnom Kulen, about 25 miles from Angkor Wat. What they found was staggering. A lost city with an elaborate grid of boulevards, reservoirs, canals, agricultural zones, and countless temples. This city, Mahendraparvata, had an advanced water management system once thought impossible for its time. Water was carefully redirected to supply different areas, with massive dikes and dams controlling distribution. Archaeologist Jean-Baptiste Chavance noted that these projects required an immense workforce, proving the Khmer were master engineers from the start. In 2015, another 734 square miles were surveyed, revealing even more buried cities. Researcher Damian Evans described the scale as the size of Phnom Penh, Cambodia's modern capital, home to over 1.5 million people. Mahendraparvata may have been the largest pre-industrial city ever built. Number 3. Vlokos. For over 200 years, archaeologists dismissed the ruins of Vlokos, a site 350 miles north of Athens, as nothing more than a small, unimportant settlement. Sitting atop a 705-foot hill, the ruins showed signs of fortifications, gates, towers, and stone walls, but nothing groundbreaking. That changed in 2016 when researchers used ground-penetrating radar and other non-invasive tech to look beneath the surface. What they found was a hidden city. Beneath the hilltop ruins was an extensive urban center, complete with a large town square, a network of streets, and evidence of dense habitation spanning about 40 hectares. Pottery shards and coins helped date the city's peak to the 4th and 3rd centuries BC. No one knows exactly why it was abandoned, but some speculate the Roman conquest played a role. Very little is known about ancient cities in this region, the project leader said. This discovery fills a huge gap in our knowledge and proves there's still so much hidden beneath Greek soil. Number 2. One of Europe's oldest settlements. Somewhere in a quiet Romanian cornfield, archaeologists have been digging up a massive prehistoric settlement that may be one of the oldest in Europe. This ancient site, dating back to around 5000 BC, sprawls across 25 hectares and includes homes, barns, storage silos, and even a fortified wall that once had a wooden palisade. Among the most impressive finds is a 10,000 square foot structure, either a grand temple or the home of a powerful tribal leader. This settlement belonged to the Cucuteni Tripilian culture, a sophisticated Neolithic society that thrived across modern-day Romania, Moldova, and Ukraine for nearly 3,000 years. These people built large, organized villages, some housing over 15,000 residents, and were pioneers in pottery, metallurgy, and possibly even the invention of the wheel. But like many ancient cultures, they vanished, likely displaced by climate shifts or invading groups. Their once thriving cities faded into obscurity, buried beneath modern landscapes, until now. What a sad luck. Number 1. Ancient Egypt's first capital city. In 2016, archaeologists in Egypt uncovered an ancient city near Abydos that could be the first ever capital of ancient Egypt. Just 400 yards from King Seti II's tomb, the site contained large tombs, artifacts, and evidence of an early settlement that housed high-ranking officials and the workers responsible for building sacred monuments. Among the most striking finds were 15 huge tombs, some even larger than those of the first royal dynasty. This suggests the city may have been a significant power center before recorded Egyptian history even began. Professor Chris Eyre, an Egyptologist from the University of Liverpool, believes this city existed at the very start of Egyptian civilization, right when history transitioned from myth to fact. Given its location near the Nile and the Valley of the Kings, this settlement likely played a major role in the rise of one of the world's most powerful civilizations. But for now, its true name and full story remain a mystery. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.